Breitenfeld. Jessica has lived and taught in 8 countries over the last 10 years, and as a linguist and certified therapist in Gestalt psychotherapy, has trained public speaking at many global and regional enterprises, as well as having won titles in public speaking. She has run dating workshops and trains facilitators on adaptability, intelligence, mindset, and skills, and is also a volunteer clown, hospitals, and an aspiring clownfluencer on YouTube. All of this has inspired Jessica to develop Engage, a method of learning by experience, the basics of which she says we can pick up in 5 minutes. Jessica regards herself as a jack of all trades in the communication training world, but as a specialist in fun and high energy. And she's asking our help to understand which monkeys want the bananas that she is offering. So with her pitch entitled Engage, Think Like Messi, please join me in welcoming Jessica Breitenfeld.
Don't you hate it when you're talking and someone does this? If I could show you in the next 1 minute how to avoid that happening to you, would you give me 1 more minute? Thank you. I'm going to need a volunteer. Can I get perhaps Connie or Guy, whoever turns on their microphone first? Guy, there you go. He's the guy. Guy, We're going to do a 1 word at a time story. 2 sentences. I say a word, you say a word.
Gotcha.
Once.
Upon. Time.
There.
Was. Princess.
Who.
Longed.
For.
A.
Handsome.
Prince.
Until.
1
day.
She.
Died. Oh, good job, Guy. Thank you. Now, totally expected. Story went the way we wanted, right? What did Guy have to do to be able to adapt and engage and finish the story with me and work as a team player? What we need, what teams need, what conferences need, what you and your children need is adapting to one another. As Savvy said, what is plan B? Luckily, Guy said princess and prince, because that's where my mind was going. Straight to sex, I tell you, Guy, you and me, right? But what happens when your plan A is totally wrong? It's totally not what you wanted, not what the team wanted, not what the economy was hoping to lead you to. I'm a Gestalt therapist and an applied improvisation consultant. What we do around the world, my compañeros in Spanish, English, and German, is engage teams to connect and to share information better. What happens is teams do not feel comfortable with each other and they're not willing to open up and connect and share what's necessary. I have a 3-step program. Yeah. Alcoholics Anonymous is 12. With Jessica Breitenfeld, it's just 3. Now, imagine you want to be like Messi, like every 12-year-old boy in the entire world. And we want to be with Messi, every 12-year-old girl in the world. Messi, when he's on the field, the ball comes towards him, but then the defender moves like he didn't expect. If you want your team to think like Messi, adapt quickly, make strong, decisive decisions, and act with strong confidence to lead the team, you need to know how to, 3 steps, listen. Listen to the reality. The ball is no longer where you expect it to be. Accept that this is the reality. You wish it weren't like this, and it is. And then the 3rd one, which is about collaboration, is build. Listen, accept, and build. I can teach your team, as I have throughout Barcelona for the last 4 years in Coca-Cola, Dam Beer, IS Global, and the local government, helping them.
Sorry, your time's up.
Helping them, that was the end.
Jessica, thank you very much indeed for that. Very entertaining pitch. And could I ask again the audience to remember to fill in their voting slips? And I'm now going to go straight over to our evaluation team. And this time, the first one to go is Guy. Take it away, Guy.
Okay. I'll start by the very beginning of the very beginning, which is the title. Already, I thought the title was at least intriguing, and you got Messi, which is a recognizable name, and we wonder what you're going to talk about. I thought your facial expressions were excellent, really good, and that just really drew us in. I think on Zoom, we tend to not do that, and I think you did a good job of making sure that you were expressive. The use of props, and I'll remind, I think you had 2, including that whistle, but of course you used the phone. So right then we are like a dog looking at a squirrel, like we can't get our eyes off of what you're showing us. So that was good. You basically brought us through these problems, and then you were saying that the solution, the first thing you did is you got me involved, or you took a volunteer and you had an interaction with the audience. So that already builds further into drawing us in. And then you said we needed to adapt. That was the solution. So I think from there you start to talk about the solution oriented, and that's where things. So in terms of structure, I saw that, and that was good that it was a signal that was clear to the audience. And now we're talking about what it is that I'm selling. Now that we've been intrigued about this improvisation and the princess and the prince, and you gave the example. It so happens that our example worked well because we were maybe I was trying to be too congenial and just going with the plain vanilla, not throw in a curveball to you. But you were explaining that that's not always the case, and then you go on to explain what do we do in this case. And then you have a 3-steps process. And then you did bring in Messi, which was great. If you hadn't, that would have been a problem. And you explain, listen, accept, build. So I'm with you. I know what you're selling. And then you give credibility by talking about the companies you work for. So good job on that.
Guy, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
So now can I please move on to Danielle?
Hello. Thank you so much, Jessica. I guess my first question is, were you familiar that this was predominantly a European audience?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the first thing I noticed was the American version of counting. It's a quick win, just to start building a little bit rapport that way. So I think that's just one thing to keep in mind is know your audience. It's basic, but we did go off and have a little, turn of who's where today. So maybe just listen to that can just take it to the next step. Also, I love the idea that you are using your props and your space. Just make sure that when you're on camera, not everyone's on spotlight view, that you need to hold it there a little longer. You said, do you see that? Look at that. And then I was actually trying to find you because I was on gallery view and I couldn't actually see your gesture. So either feed off people on camera or the awkward pause or pause with poise can really help if that's really important that you're selling. If you're going to use that, it may take people a little bit longer to see it than on a live stage. And I think what I really would like a little bit more is just choosing the key messaging and narrowing for a 3-minute pitch. There was so much information, and I think Guy did a wonderful time actually summarizing it, but even in the summary, it was quite robust. So I would say that for a 7-minute speech would have been perfect, and I would just challenge you to maybe think about what are the key things and the key turns of phrases that you can do in 3 minutes and simplify. Because if you're a communications expert, simplicity in the messaging is what you're selling, and I think that if you do that, you're spot on.
Danielle, thank you very much indeed. And now, to conclude this evaluation, Deanne.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Wow, that was a lot in 3 minutes. I mean, thank you, Guy, for really resuming the different steps and points you went through. What I admire was your bravery, because you definitely took risks in your pitch, playing the game with Guy. What would you have done if he would have continued your phrases in a very different way, which you would not have expected? So you would have been at a risk to lose track. So I thought it was really brave of you to go that way. I like that you brought in a lot of images. You were visual with the prop. but also explaining Messi. I think Messi is also a strong image for everybody. And then I liked the conclusion: listen, accept, and build. So that was quite strong. And of course, as a future client, I always like to be reassured by hearing with which kind of clients you have already worked. So that's very reassuring to know that you have already worked with big names. So very well done. Thank you very much.
Diane, thank you very much. And thank you too, Jessica. So our next speaker is Sylvain Munch.